I'm going to do a fairly compressed video of installing the bag guards on a Harley touring bike, and it's going to be the same for a Road Glide, Street Glide, or Road King. The reason these are going on is because if you accidentally lay the bike down at a stop or at low speeds without the bag guards, the front guards don't really support the whole bike. If the whole bike wants to kind of roll onto its side, once it rolls onto its side, you're going to get damage to the fairing, possibly the controls, of course the bags, and you're looking at least $1,000 for a low speed tip over. I do a fair amount of low speed training and coding courses, and taking a lot of classes from different folks. And in an instance where they, whether it's in a class where they put me in a position where I need to do something that I'm not used to, I don't want to be in a spot where I get $1,000 worth of damage. Or if I'm trying to push myself harder to do something tighter or sharper in a smaller area than I would normally, I don't want to end up in a situation where I've got that issue. So I've already put those on the wife's bike. It's a pretty easy process, but I was going to run through it today. I'm going to open up the box and let you know what's in here. This is Harley Davidson Chrome saddlebag guards, 14 and later. And this is part number 902-00787, and these were manufactured this year and purchased through Surdine Harley for $200 delivered. This is the Harley part. You can order these multiple different ways. They do come pre and post 2014. The post 2014 is the exact same all the way up to 2019. And the pre-2014 are going to be a little bit different. You can't swap the two of them. You can order them two different ways, to where it's just the guard itself that goes on, and then you have to use your saddlebag mount right here. You have to cut it and then slide it in and get a bolt, source your own bolt, and put it in. You can do that cheaper if you want to cut these. That kit that is just the guard is designed for a replacement bar for like an Ultra. So if you have an Ultra and you drop it, you damage the bar or bend it, run into something, bend it, you can replace just the bar, and that kit's cheaper. I got the entire kit, so we're going to run through what's in that entire kit real quick here. Direct from Harley. This is going to be a new bag support. You have to reuse your rubber mount, as far as I know. Nothing in there. This is going to be a complete kit for $200 right in the lap. So you get your two bag supports, and then your two bag guards. And a little hardware kit here. So your hardware kit, two bag bars, and two guards. The process here is going to be taking the seat off, taking the bags off, removing the factory bag guard, taking out two bolts underneath the seat. The bolts underneath the seat then go right back in place. This is the other side. Go right back in place over this one. The other standard bar goes, the bolt is reused there, and then the bag support goes back in here, this guy here, and bolts down. And basically that's it. For $200 you get these. For less than that, you can go look on Amazon, and there's some Chinese made ones. I would hope that since these are Harley brand, they're made in the United States. I don't see any markings one way or the other, but hopefully these are the more sturdy ones you can get. There's some other ones that are larger diameter that I thought looked pretty cool. They were 1.25 inches, I think, instead of 3/4 inch bars. The complaint I saw was that you can't remove the side covers with those in place. So I'm going to do a quick run through and take these parts off. If you guys haven't already done this, when you take off your bags, make sure that your bag goes back on correctly. Everything locks in place so you don't lose your bag. Always have some place to set these guys when you're working on them. So you just gotta pull these two bolts off. You do have to remove the side covers to get to the bag supports. Now if the side cover's off, you've got a bolt here, and I think this is still in view. You got two bolts back here that attach to like the rear fender subframe, plus you got to remove your two muffler mounts. The two in the back here require nuts or a wrench. First thing I'm doing in this rear section here is take off the bolts for the exhaust. The exhaust doesn't need to be moved in any manner, and will generally not need to be supported when doing work like this. Next, I'm removing the rear bolt off the bag support. The last thing you got to take off to remove this bar is this front attachment point. This one is backed up by the nut as well. And once that guy's loose, you just got to pull the rubber stopper out. Have any trouble with that, WD-40 is your friend. Spray it down. And then you just get the correct one of those. Put your little rubber guy back in there. All right, once your rubber's back in there, that part of it's done. You can grab your bag guard here. Goes in just like that. I like to use thread locker on virtually everything that I do on the Harleys, just because they vibrate so much. So everything that goes back in is going to get a little bit of thread lock on it. All right, so you don't reuse this guy because the Harley version is plenty thick to actually lift it up and support the seat. This another piece, this guy here, was designed to fill the gap, but once this bolt comes back up, you're at the same height as the bolt should be. So you don't reuse that guy. Just crank these two down, leave this one loose while you're getting the back set up. The two rear bolts have some slop in them, so it'll go up and down some. You'll need to find the sweet spot to where your bag sits correctly. So just make sure you get that angle set right, and then get everything cinched down. The factory bars, the side covers go right back on. All right, once that's all back in place, you are good to go. Steady as a rock. You can, when the bike's parked, if for some reason they're parked too close, I can grab onto them and drag the rear of the bike around if I need to move the bikes for some reason. You just repeat your steps on the other side, and there's really no difference.
You can get this taken care of in about an hour with simple hand tools that you can source from Lowe's and Home Depot. It's just a couple Torx bits and a couple wrenches and a ratchet. I'd hate to see somebody pay a dealer an hour or more labor to install these when you can easily do it yourself.